So good evening. It's Sunday, April 26th. I want to welcome everybody to the Michigan District of Kiwanis Lieutenant Governor Education. I hope everybody had a great weekend. We have two guests with us this weekend from the Florida District, and I will let them go ahead and introduce themselves. Except I told them you, right?
All right, Mary Lynn, I'm going to let Mary Lynn go first.
Okay, Mary Lynn, go ahead.
Okay, I'm Mary Lynn Descharlet. I'm governor-elect, and my best buddy in Kiwanis is Debbie McNulty, and she is my education chair, because you always need to have a good chair who you can rely on. So if Debbie says she's going to do something, I go, check, and I'm done. And we're here to watch, because I'm still debating how much to do my lieutenant governor online and how much in person. So thank you for letting us be here.
Well, welcome. We're glad you're with us.
All right.
If you have any questions along the way, feel free to jump in on the chat, and we'll help you answer them there. And I think there's a couple of people that'll join us tonight too. Okay.
I was gonna mention that I'm also the master trainer, the CLE trainer, finishing up this year. So yeah, it's been a little crazy. So I'm finishing up my last year as leadership education coordinator, and I'm starting as Mary Lynn's education chair. So of course everything happens like right now. So I'm really trying to learn about Zoom meetings and such, because I have a lot of them to give.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Okay, no problem. We've been on Zoom now since about a month. I guess it's been at least that long. And every meeting we get better. Every meeting we get better.
We try.
All right. So let's see if I can figure out how to move this along here. See if I can figure it out. Fran, any questions? Ready?
No questions. I'm just saying this is our 6th meeting. This is our
Wow.
6th session already. We've been going along quite fast. And hopefully the next one will be warmer. We can actually say we got a little bit warmer outside. All righty. That's all I have to say. We're on for Brian.
All right. So here with us this week, the ever famous Brian Tenclinger, who spends as much time with us. Pretty soon we'll be charging him rent here in the state of Michigan. But Brian's going to talk to us today about what our role is as a lieutenant governor. So Brian, take it away.
Great, thank you, and good evening. Miss Mary, it's good to see you again. It's been since November. I'm glad you're able to join us tonight and check this out. So go ahead, Sue. Tonight we will be looking at a couple of different resources that are uploaded to the share drive, and I will have slides with them, so you don't necessarily need them in front of you. But if you do go back after this evening and would like to reference materials, that's what we're using. So on your screen on the left, the first is a 5-page worksheet. When it prints out, it's got a little girl with her sticky hands in the corner. And these are, we'll go into this in a little bit of detail, but it's a great little reflection page to use as you think about your role as lieutenant governor and how it plays in the bigger picture within your district and then with Kiwanis International. In the center of your screen, you should see the brand new Lieutenant Governor, the cover of the brand new Lieutenant Governor workbook. This is online for you to use as a PDF document. You can download it to your computer and print it at home or wherever, or you can just view it however you'd like by flipping pages. Using the arrow keys, but it's a great resource for you. The other thing that I'll be using is, for a majority of you, you should have received an email from Kiwanis International this past Friday inviting you to the Lieutenant Governor Hub, which is in lieu of us being able to travel to the districts, we have created a landing page, a website for you to view and to put resources that have been used over the years by lieutenant governors, and we hope that you bookmark that page. There's a way to do that in typically the upper right screen of your machines, your laptops, computers, desktops. We hope that you bookmark that page and go back to it often, as there's great information there. The cool part about having a landing page for all of you, the Lieutenant Governor Hub, is that if we need to add something, instead of sending it out, mailing it out to 500 of you, essentially. We just upload it, push an email out saying, hey, guess what? We've got a new resource for you to view. So we'll be looking at a couple of those different pieces this evening. Go ahead, Sue. So a quick overview. Last week we talked a little bit about where you fit in the big picture in the world in Kiwanis. So a quick review. Art will be the international president, and then of course Governor Fran will take over on October 1st, the lieutenant governor class, the district board committee chairs. Those are the foot soldiers on the ground doing the amazing work. And then the club presidents report up to you. On the sidelines are myself, Greg, and to be determined who from the Kiwanis International Board will be your board counselor.
It has been determined. It's Daryl Hurlbrink.
Oh, it is. It's okay, David. Yes.
David. I'm sorry, David.
David, you're right. That announcement did go out.
No, I think it's Daryl. Anyway,
No, it's
David Hurlbrink.
Okay.
Yep. From the Kansas.
Yes.
Kansas district. Yep. He's fun. He's a lot of fun. It'll be Greg, David, and Brian will be your mostly Fran's cheerleaders, but whatever you need, we're there as well. So go ahead, Sue. So this is the link to the Lieutenant Governor Hub. You can, it was sent to you in the email that was released on Friday, or if you go back and view this PowerPoint slide deck, you can click right on that and that'll take you right to the hub. It's pretty easy to remember. It's just, think of your year, 2020 to 2021, LT Gov Hub, Lieutenant Governor Hub. And it'll take you right to the landing page where there's all kinds of resources for you. Go ahead, Sue.
And that worked.
Good. So when you do get to the landing page, this is what it'll look like. So I've taken a screenshot, I've taken a picture of what it looks like and shrunk it down. You'll see 6 boxes. You'll have to scroll up and down for them, but the first 3 that you'll see is a box about membership, a box about education, and both of these are resource pages. So say you're working with clubs in your division and they really need some resources about education. Aha, I know where to go. My Lieutenant Governor Hub, click on education. It saves you a lot of time trying to search our international website, which we hope is going to make this easier for you. The materials box, the one with the light bulb in it, the glass light bulb, this is where we will upload various materials for you to use. Next slide, Sue. As you scroll down the page, you'll see all of the Achieving Club Excellence or ACE tools have been uploaded for you. So these are handouts that you can print and distribute if you're doing a division council meeting. It's a great refresher if you've got, say you start looking at your division and you start hearing some common denominators, some common messages, and you're like, wow, these clubs are really stale. They're not popular, and it seems to be the same people coming to the meetings over and over. Probably a time to look at refreshing themselves in their community. Is there a public relations tool they can use? So we've got ACE tools uploaded for you. 5-year trends reports are there as well for you to look at, and then your metrics. And we're actually going to go into those a little bit later this week. And then we've put some other links for resources. So we hope this will be a good landing page for you. Go ahead, Sue. So in your Lieutenant Governor workbook, when you do get the chance to look at it, you'll find that there's a lot of different resources that should hopefully help you understand from an international perspective what our expectation of a Lieutenant Governor is. Go ahead, Sue. There we go. And your job description starts on page 6. And this is a lot of text to be on a PowerPoint slide. We are not going to cover it in details. I've separated it out in the next couple of slides. But if you turn to page 6 in your workbook, this is what you would see. And I love the cheerleader. Yay, Lieutenant Governor, leading the division. But I want you to remember that in addition to what Kiwanis International, has laid out as basic responsibilities, your district will have additional duties, such as reports that may need to be filed, some deadlines, attendance at various meetings, etc. We don't put them in this book because we'd have to list every single district, and then we'd have a 200-page document. That's just boring. So in addition to what you see in this guide from Kiwanis International, Governor Fran and Greg will also have some resources for you, probably some dates to remember, etc. So that'll be helpful. Go ahead, Sue. So as you flip through the book, when you get to page 7, you'll see 3 boxes, one for qualifications. These are basic, not what you have to, like a resume, you must be qualified to apply for the job. But what we see, a proven leader as a lieutenant governor is able to facilitate change by using good communication tools. You lead by example. You have the ability to influence others. Good personality, essentially. A good leader, a good motivator. We do have some basic duties, which we're going to cover in just a second, and then some expectations, and that is to make sure that you are focusing on the duties, which is essentially membership, education, and we'll go into those a little bit in a second. So you'll see 3 boxes when you get to page 7, and that's just a little deeper dive as to what the international expects of our lieutenant governors across the globe. Go ahead, Sue. So what I've done is there are about, I think, in buckets. So if you set out 5 different buckets and you pull from them, there are 5 essential buckets, and each of these buckets will appear on the worksheet with the little girl and the handprint. So each page of that worksheet is a different bucket. So we'll go ahead and break those down real quick. There's 5 buckets, essentially 5 key areas of a lieutenant governor. The first one, go ahead, Sue. There we go. The first one is club engagement. And this is you interfacing with the clubs in your division. And that will look different, depend on every district. Your district will have expectations of you and how often you're to make visits, or at least a telephone contact. What does the club expect of you? You may have an expectation from those who you serve saying, we'd like to see you once every 3 months, so forth. So the club engagement bucket for you is really the moving of the people, being visible, being knowledgeable, but also understanding what are you inheriting with these clubs. So between now and October 1st, what do you know about the clubs in your division? What are their sacred cows that we just cannot move? What are some of their traditions that maybe they're just holding on really tight to that you can lead them through the change of, hey, what if we let go and made some progress? The club culture, every club has a different culture. You know, what does that club look and feel like in the community? Are they the basics or not? The second bucket, which is the blue bucket, is the district Kiwanis International engagement. So this is Governor Fran's and the district's goals. What's going to be important this year to the Michigan district that you as Lieutenant Governor will be promoting? What are those key messages? Maybe it's we're all going to go to Michigan football games this year and go blue and sing the fight song and drink from Michigan water bottles. And I'm putting my shameless plug in now, and Stu can easily mute me, by the way. I'm a huge Michigan fan. I love and respect Sue. Love and respect Sue. And there is a Sparty in my office, but love Michigan.
It's okay. I will let you. You can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Scott will be your best friend.
You have to have some fun rivalries, right?
Exactly.
The third bucket, which is the yellow bucket, is membership. So as Lieutenant Governor, what messages will you be leading
Sorry.
Yeah, you're going really fast. Slow down.
Okay.
Bad Michigan State football game. It's just, the third bucket for you is membership. And how are you going to be supporting membership in the division? And that is existing clubs in their current membership size, new clubs, and the opportunity for them to come on board, et cetera. The fourth bucket of a Lieutenant Governor the green bucket, is club openings. So what should a new club look like? And doing a scan of your division, the analogy I like to use is a 10,000 foot view. For those of you who are coming back as lieutenant governors, you may remember this when we gathered in Lansing last year. I like to use the 10,000 foot view analogy. It happens to be, when you think 10,000 feet, if you've been on an airplane lately, it's the altitude in which it's safe to use your electronic devices once you're above 10,000 feet. But if you go back a little bit further, 10,000 feet is also the altitude that you need to be at if you are skydiving. It's the altitude to deploy the parachute. So anything below 10,000 feet is a risk factor. Anything above 10,000 feet, perfectly okay to deploy that parachute and jump out of the plane and deploy. But your parachute should be open at 10,000 feet. What happens when that parachute opens? After you stop screaming, you slowly start to work your way back down to the ground. But you get this incredible view. You get this incredible 360-degree view of the land around you, and you can hear crystal clear. It's so peaceful, so quiet. So imagine yourself going up to 10,000 feet and hovering above your geographic division and removing yourself from all the noise. The people, the what's happening, the politics, the sacred cows. What does that division look like? What are the fastest growing communities in that division? What are some of the areas where, gosh, they've just opened 3 new schools in this community? I wonder if we need a new Kiwanis club to help those teachers. So it's a great way for you to almost play the hat of a real estate agent and take a scan of that neighborhood and think, how can we serve and what can Kiwanis be doing? And we'll take a deep dive into that when we look at the membership trends the next time we visit. Go ahead, Sue. The final bucket is logistics. This is the interesting one. So in your division, you may be asked to host division council meetings, either online, remotely, or in person a couple times a year. What does that look like? What are the check boxes that need to be checked when you plan that? If Fran will be visiting your division at any time, what is that purpose of that governor's visit? My guess is she will not want you to waste her time. That, you know, it's meaningful, it's memorable. Maybe there's an opportunity for Fran to do some service with the Kiwanians and have a meal and chat, have a cup of coffee together. Make sure it's meaningful. Fran may have a message that she'd like to deliver, you know, hear ye, that's great. But what is that purpose going to be? And then think about your communication style, the logistics of how often will you be communicating with your club leaders, and what are those messages that you'll be sharing. In your Lieutenant Governor workbook, the back half of the workbook is a planner. It's a month-by-month planner, and we've listed some reminders at the bottom of each calendar page, and those might be good messages to push out each month to your division. Hey, don't forget that Kiwanis One Day is later this month, and let me know what types of service projects you're doing. Don't forget to take pictures, make sure they're appropriate, you know, just those little gentle nudges that the clubs need. So that'll be pretty cool. So next slide, Sue. So the worksheet, and hopefully you'll get a chance to take that worksheet, and if you have access to a printer at home or to put it on your computer and maybe copy down on a pad of paper, you know, what are some of the things that you need to think of? Each bucket is a different page of the worksheet. So club engagement, the district engagements, club opening, etc. So hopefully you'll take some time in between now, I'd say in the next month, and view this and just start doing some thoughts, get a stream of consciousness going, and what are some big pictures that you can do to help support you, help motivate you in your role as Lieutenant Governor, but then who will you need to support you in some of those messages? The other lieutenant governors? Will it be Greg? Will it be Fran? We designed this, the worksheet document, and the multiple pages of it to generate questions. We designed that so when you are working on it, you may have a little pad of paper off to the side writing down some questions. I need to follow up with so-and-so, or maybe I should talk to this person. So hopefully it'll get you thinking about being a lieutenant governor. At the end of the day, this is a volunteer role. And at the international office, we recognize it, we love it, and we love you for it, and we support you. And so we hope to keep this in the top of your daily routine, as much as possible. Go ahead, Sue. So I wanted to open it up and see if there's any questions about just the general expectations of being a lieutenant governor.
I have a question. I saw one mention there. Are we going to be getting this book through the mail, or is it just on computer?
That's a great question. Initially on the computer, and then eventually we'll be shipping them to the district. We are not able to ship right now because of the pandemic that's happening. And so we will work with Fran and Greg when it's best, when we are able to ship. We'll work with Fran and Greg when it's best to get the materials into the district, and then when the best time to distribute them will be. So yes, you'll get a hard copy eventually. I just don't know the release date yet.
Brian, will that be in the same website, that kiwanis.org/2021?
Yes, it's there already. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And it is on our SharePoint site with all the rest of our documents as well.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, there's a lot of stuff there. What do you think is the best thing that everybody can do as a lieutenant governor-elect over the next, say, 2 months or something like that? What should they be focused on in preparing for the year to start?
What helped me when I became a district governor for my fraternity, what helped me was doing that 10,000-foot scan and understanding who the kind of the movers and shakers were. And they may not necessarily be the person, the club president, the club secretary, but who are the people that have social influence in the clubs? What was I inheriting? Where's the drama? So maybe getting a good picture of, all the clubs in your division, and, I created an Excel spreadsheet. What is the current membership size? Have they had the same club secretary for, more than 5 years? Yes or no? And it kind of gave me a quick snapshot, almost like if you look at, if any of you taught before, the good old fashioned, the teacher's grading books, where you just went across with the ruler and you marked down. But at the end of the term, you could turn to a page and be like, this is my English 101 class, and this is how they performed. So I use some of my own criteria, but I would look at, when was the last time they've had a division council meeting? Was it effective or not? So look at the engagement, the membership, the who's who, the movers and shakers. I think that would be a good, and however you need to maneuver that, totally fine. If it's a piece of paper, you type on the computer, if you draw pictures with crayons, there's no right or wrong way to do that. But I would start making that snapshot. Yeah, go ahead.
Brian, I had a suggestion. You were talking about learning about who the movers and shakers are, and it's really hard to do right now since you can't really go to any meetings. So
Yeah.
I would recommend to all the incoming lieutenant governors to find out where and when all of their clubs are meeting online, and see if you can join their meetings. You can just sit there and say, hey, I'm the incoming lieutenant governor. I just want to get to know everybody. And that would be an excellent way to get your name out there. And also then you can start taking your notes, you said, about those clubs and about what happens.
Yep. If you are familiar with Facebook, and you're comfortable using Facebook, or have someone that can help you maneuver Facebook, search for all of the clubs in your division and their Facebook pages. A couple of things to look at is, when was the last time that page was updated? So when was the last post that somebody made? Was it in 2017, or was it in March of 2020, just a couple weeks ago? How relevant are the pictures on the page? Are they promoting the partnerships that they should be having with the key clubs, the Circle K, the Circle, all that? Are they actively engaged with the SLPs? Do they have an opportunity on that Facebook page, if someone in the community comes across it, Is there an opportunity to click here to learn more, or who do they call if they'd like to talk to somebody about volunteering at the upcoming service project or making a donation? So look for that contact information and make sure it's relevant. That's another thing you can be doing, is looking at the Facebook pages of each of your clubs. So if I were to share my screen, I have each of the 11 districts I manage. I have each of their district Facebook pages bookmarked for quick access. I have all 11 district websites bookmarked for easy access. And I toggle through them every now and then in my free time. And I look at things. When was the last time something was updated? When was the last time they posted a picture? And if I see something that's significantly out of date, I will send a quick note like, hey, PR chair for the division or district, have you had any good news to share? And I'll, try and start a conversation with them and see if we can get things moving. Michigan district's fine. Your Facebook social media presence is extremely strong. In fact, it's probably one of the best of the 11 that I work with. And the district page it's good. The Builder, your newsletter that you guys produce, it's top notch. It's probably one of the best I've ever seen from a district page. There's a lot of good information in there, and it's a great one-stop shop. So, other questions about general expectations?
So would you recommend that our Lieutenant Governor-elects contact the current Lieutenant Governor, if there is one and they're not repeating themselves? In this time of not being able to visit personally, but
yeah, I tried to put a light on to give me some more light, but whoa, it's like Broadway. I would, yeah. So if you are inheriting a division, if there's going to be a transition at some point, I would encourage you to get in touch with the outgoing Lieutenant Governor, and if you can, set up a couple of conversations, whether a telephone call or hopefully meet for a coffee at some point, and talk about what does that look like.
What do they call that?
Cool.
Other questions?
So you've got a little bit of homework to do. You now have access to several materials on the Lieutenant Governor Hub, or we call it the LG for Lieutenant Governor, LG Hub. Fun fact: if you go across the border into Canada, your counterparts are called Lieutenant Governors. They're not called Lieutenant Governors, Lieutenant Governors. So we just say LGs. Because then we're meeting everybody's language, Canadians and Americans. So I would spend some time looking through the Lieutenant Governor Hub. You can't break it because we own it. So click as much as you want and view as much information as you like. In addition, you may have received an email inviting you to sign up with Blue Sky. That is legitimate. That is not a spam email. With Blue Sky, and our staff has created 17 TED Talk style videos that correspond with each of the chapters of your Lieutenant Governor workbook. So as you're going through your training, if you want to learn more or hear an audio version of, what's one chapter? Division club opening, what club opening might look like. You can go to that audio file and boom, someone will appear on the screen, and you can listen to and follow along in your workbook. So we've hopefully made things a little bit easier for you. We had to record these all at home, so the backgrounds will look differently, and there's no fancy schmancy. I did my hair that day. It was nice. So.
I was just gonna say I did most of the videos today, and I like that every video you changed your shirt, Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, good effort.
They're really good. They're very good videos.
I did. I totally had three or four shirts sitting off to the side and still. Hello.
I was laughing.
So,
Yeah.
so the legitimate email for the Blue Skies from Meredith Taylor?
Yes, that's the one. That is
Thanks.
not spam. That is, you are invited to do that.
Yes, I found it new.
Yeah, yeah.
Spam.
You can. You do not have to go in sequential order. You can bounce around. We did make I think I shared with Fran and Greg, we did make a certificate of completion. If you do watch all 17 or whatever the number is, you'll get a little certificate. And we just thought that was a nice touch for thanks for being with us. Yeah.
I think you should give them tickets to football games, Brian.
Yes. Yes.
If there is football games this fall.
Yeah, well, you know. So so I'm a Michigan fan, but we're totally going side conversation. I'm a fraternity man from Louisiana State University. So we had a really good week with the NFL draft, right? But if there's no college football this fall, that means LSU will be the national champions 2 years in a row. We're holding on to that. We're holding on.
What a travesty.
Players.
I'm an LSU fan.
I like
Yeah, we might have a little debate on that.
As I said, what a travesty.
You know, you gotta laugh. You
gotta laugh, exactly.
Yep. So you've got a lot of information now at your fingertips. Again, you can't break it. Your computer may stall, but you can't break it. But let us know if something is not downloading properly, which there's always that chance. Please let us know. Feel free to reach out to me and say, hey, I'm really curious about this worksheet that's uploaded and it's not coming to me. I can look behind the scenes and see if the link is put in or send you the document directly. So I'm glad to help you with those materials. All right.
All right. Any other questions for Brian in this? So you get to hear Brian on Wednesday again. I should say still continued. Brian is going to bring the membership 5-year trends for the state of Michigan, the District of Michigan, together on Wednesday for us, which will be very interesting to see. And with the data being in the Lieutenant Governor Hub, that'll be great for us to have access to. So, you know, you may want to take a look ahead of time, but it would be great to hear it from Brian's perspective, what Kiwanis International is looking at and how they're doing, you know, what they see our membership is, but also give you an opportunity to figure out where we're at and figure out where your district is or your division is. And then for, I'm sure that Governor Fran will be looking at it from the division or the district level. So that will be with us next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to stop sharing because we don't need to share anymore. Oh, good. Okay, perfect.
Before we go, if excuse me, I just wanted to know if obviously you got the Lieutenant Governor of Bluevic thing and the 17 segments and so forth. Are other officers like club officers, is that also being offered at all, or is that something that's not there yet?
Yeah, that's a great question, Don. And the answer is yes. The Blue Sky platform that we're using, it's the software program that we're using to offer audio visual modules. The lieutenant governors are the first to have that content be added there. Next is the traditional CLE content. Club presidents, club secretaries, club treasurers.
Right.
All of that is being recorded right now.
Cool.
And will be uploaded using the same platform. I think that goal is, I want to say it's June 1st or earlier.
Oh, good.
To get that online. But yes, we will be doing the same thing where there will be both resources for them to use, go on this website and pull, as well as if they want to hear a TED Talk style thing, they'll have that as well.
And then we are still planning to do club leadership education in July. All things moving forward with our restrictions on where we can and can't go, and whatever comes down with that. But we're still planning on doing CLEs in July. I know that information went out to the club secretaries. And if that does not happen in July, we, of course, will do some online meetings like we are doing here, so that our club presidents and our club secretaries and our club treasurers can get on and talk with our lieutenant governors, and they get a chance to meet you, but also a chance to meet other members of the district. So we'll do that same type of this same type of media presentations on those events. So there'll be plenty for people to connect up with. And then given that our district convention is in August, we'll continue that education at that point. And we do have hopes and dreams for a fall training conference, given where we go with everything going on. But we have hopes for a fall training conference that we can potentially invite the president-elects, so the officers for 21, 22, to start their education training in this fall. So we're going to try to get ahead of the schedule, so we're not training them, 3 or 4 months before they start their year. So we've got some of that stuff planned, and of course it depends on, we'll go virtual should we not be able to meet.
So do you want to say something about the CLE books we already have in our office?
So yeah, we do have them. The intent was to distribute those at the CLEs when we get together in July, at our July training sessions. And yep, Brian has one right there. So we have 5 books for every club, and the new leadership guide has been put together, that everything is in one book. So the president, secretary, treasurer, vice president, everything is in that book for everyone to use, and every club will get 5 copies of it. Brian, would you like to add to that? 5.
It's color coordinated.
That's what Brian said.
It's color coordinated. It's so, and it has tabs.
You're going to get a comment that somebody says, "I'm colorblind. What am I going to do?"
It's already happened.
The question came up from Carol, can we mail the books? At this point, we're not going to mail them. That would be a major expense. They actually shipped them to us by truck. They came by truck. So we will not, at this point, we're not going to mail them. We want to wait and see, with the hopes that we can get them out to the clubs at CLE. And since the other thing is, remember, we can't get in the office either. We're on stay-at-home restrictions as well. So Greg's not in the office either at this point. He's doing everything remotely as well. So we can see where that goes. But the goal is that we really want to get them out to, the goal is we want to challenge our districts and our divisions to get their club officers to the training session. That's the plan. We really want to get them there. And I know we're going to deal with lots of challenges, something that the leadership team, education team will have to work on, and we'll have to do it. But we really want to get them to those sessions. And since we're offering 3 of them, again, this year, same locations as last year, that's our big goal, is to get them there. So we want to make sure that they really need that. And I know we hear this every year, well, it doesn't change much. Well, when you think about it, our club presidents typically, or should be, new presidents every year. So we should be having, new members that are involved that could use that education. And, things do change in Kiwanis, as much as we like to say they don't, but there's a lot of new information, and we like to bring you up to date on what Governor Fran will have for her goals for the year, anything that could be changing, within the district or within Kiwanis. So we will work on that as well.
Sue?
Yes.
Is that book online like the Lieutenant Governor's books?
Yes, it is.
So that new officers could look at it?
Yep.
Yep.
It is.
Okay.
In fact, when I do the Monday newsletter, I'll put it in the Monday newsletter, the link in Monday's newsletter.
Thank you.
One other thing I wanted to bring up with you is I got a copy of an article about COVID-19 and philanthropy, how donor behaviors are shifting. And one of the things I found was very interesting, and I'm still doing some more research on this, but most donors plan to maintain or even increase the amount of money they donate to charity this year. More than half of the people said that they're going to maintain their giving levels. Younger generations plan to step up their donation levels. Millennials will give more. And of those who say they will decrease their donations, it's their concern over the recession in the economy, which is completely understandable. In contrast, volunteer activity is likely to dramatically decrease due to the pandemic. Nearly 47% of recent volunteers surveyed believe the amount of time they volunteer will decrease or stop entirely because of the pandemic. Older donors are more likely to say that. 61% of silver generation and 57% of baby boomers. While Generation X and millennials actually said they expect their volunteer time to increase. So interestingly, you would think that we'd start to see, one of the things we looked at is, will we start to see a decrease in donations? But actually what we're seeing is we're seeing an increase because they want to give to the COVID, to the pandemic, their first response is how can they help their vulnerable population? So, and most of it, 58% are plan on giving to to their local organizations. They're gonna continue to support their favorite nonprofits. So, that was an interesting survey that I just read, was what people are thinking is going to happen with the pandemic, in the number of, because our first thought was everybody's going to give that out. So, other questions? Do we have anything from Fran? Have anything you want to talk about?
Nope, not right now.
Greg?
All set.
All set.
Sue, I've got one question.
Yes, sir.
This is actually to Greg. The thing that you brought up last week about international eliminating dues until October 1, is that gone public yet?
Yes. I mean, yes, it sort of has the district. So that is true for international. The district is going to take that up at their board meeting on May 9th about the
Right.
district.
So if we start putting it out now that international dues will be covered between now and October, we can start promoting that and trying to pull new membership.
Well, what is it? It's the new member.
Yes.
It's the new member fee of $50 now. So the new member fee is $50 between now and September. The district at this point is prorated, so we're probably like at 19 or $17 or something like that.
Right.
But then the club will still charge whatever club dues they want to do. Two new club member fees that they could decide whether they want to do that or not. So
right. Second question: the May 9th thing. How long is that meeting running if virtually? Is it an all-day thing?
I would expect it to be shorter, but I'd expect it would be done by noon, I would think.
Okay, so we're looking 9 to noon?
Something like that. Maybe
9:30.
9:30 to noon. Maybe.
All right.
Probably no later than 1 anyway.
Okay. And then final comment, I think we should all wear our collegiate jackets or shirts to make sure that Brian, would see that we're not the only ones supporting Michigan or State or CMU or any of the other ones on Wednesday.
We can do that. We'll wear our college colors on Wednesday. How's that?
Fire up chips. Fire up chips.
Hail to the victors.
Oh, I wonder if I could get Sparty to show up.
There you go.
You can do it. You can right now.
Well,
bored now,
since he couldn't get to my spring divisional for St. Patrick's Green, just bring him when you can.
So,
thanks.
Yeah, he's in quarantine till unknown right now.
I know.
And he showed up to one of my net.
Up there's the
Florida. Mary Lynn.
Mary Lynn is out there. So, all right. With that, we will call it an evening. We will see you on.
Okay, Brian.
I might have some UCA around here somewhere too. I'll see what I can find. Partnership for a Buckeye Free America.
Everybody can find that.
All right.
All right.
And I did forget to tell you that Joanne's back with us this week. Hi, Joanne. I want to remind everybody that this Thursday for Kiwanis Let's Talk, we have 2 young ladies, Nina and Emma, who are high school seniors, will be joining us to do a program on Operation Cupcake.
So cool. Which is so cool. Yeah.
Really cool. And they're going to talk about how they do paper cupcakes, and they deliver them to nursing homes and stuff like that to raise funds and to raise people's energy and motivation and stuff, and just to have fun. And then the week after, on Thursday, we actually have Laura Lee, who's coming to us out of the Texas-Oklahoma district, is a licensed counselor and will be coming on to talk about dealing with the emotional and the mental and the physical components of us being stuck at home, and the fact that it's okay not to feel okay right now. So she will be with us that week. And then our own Barb Duran is going to be on 2 weeks after that to talk about using Facebook for your club or your district or your division. So we'll open that up as well. And then the plan is for the 2 weeks after that, and I know I'll throw dates out later, but the 2 weeks after that, we're looking at hosting the international candidates, vice presidents 1 week, and trustees the next week, as a way for them to talk about what their goals are and why we should elect them for members on our board. So those will be happening the last couple of weeks of May. You're the first to hear that, although Kiwanis International does know. I've talked with Stan and Jeff and Ben. Actually, I've talked to several people, so we'll work on that. So we'll start collecting questions, and that'll be we'll open that up to anybody. We'll set that up as a webinar. We're going to set it up as a special webinar so that everybody can get to it that way. So if you have any other questions, yes.
Okay, Sue.
Yes.
What about for the district candidates?
We'll work that one in.
Because they're not having spring divisionals, that's made it.
Right. So we may do that the week after.
Okay.
So I'm working out, because somebody said, are you having trouble getting speakers for your sessions? I'm like, no, I'm already booked into June. So, which is great. So I encourage you, if you do want to participate in those, I would ask that you sign up ahead of time, because once the session starts, I can't go back in and approve you because I have to run the session. So if you have not already registered for the webinars, please do so at least 12 hours before the session so that I have time to approve you. And if you've already registered once, you should be fine. And we will be live streaming onto Facebook this week. There was a glitch with Facebook's live stream last week, so we couldn't do it. But we are.
What meeting is this?
Pardon?
Where's this meeting?
This one's on Thursday night.
Oh, Thursday night. That's
Yeah.
not us then.
So I will, when I do the newsletter update tomorrow, I'll put all this information in it to keep everyone going. So, all right, with that, we're 7 minutes ahead of schedule.
You're doing good.
Very good.
Nice.
Thank you.
Get this recording up online in the next day. Everyone have a great evening or great week ahead, and we'll see you on Wednesday night.
See you Wednesday.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks for running the meeting.
Bye.
Brian, hang out, please.
I'm trying to get up so I can do it.